in Hell, where was that done? To Rain in Hell was shot at Rimar Studios. That's the one they built the lake. That was Lake Veronica. Yeah, we call it Lake Veronica. That lake existed for 6 hours. They finished it, set up the cameras, they rode across it, and tore it down. And it was Lake Veronica and the sets for Fever, the pirate set for Fever, that was mind-bogglingly fabulous as a working set to look at, and also to look at as a set. I mean, the way it was on television was great, but then also what they had done to make that happen and for us to shoot on it, because there was continuity in that in most shows each little piece would have been completely different, but I actually, for one thing, I actually dug dirt up to the wall of the set, broke the wooden wall, came through into the set, and then entered the first one and eventually jumped through to the second level. And all of this was continuity. Would have been 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 sets in a normal way of shooting. So the thing that he had done there, this man's bridge, was a work of genius, and it was also incredibly expensive to build, and it was fabulous, and it's the kind of thing that as a producer you're going, and now we're tearing it down. And it was those 2 sets that made them go down to Vernon, where they could build sets and then leave them. And then once we were there, all kinds of things started happening. Like, for one thing, they looked at this, and the great staircase that Narcissa was having fire kicked down was already there because they had shot the motion picture Warlock in that warehouse. And so that was like a very expensive set that they never had to build. And then after we were there for a few weeks, some show, I don't remember which one, called up and said, we have all these tunnels that are plumbed so you can run water down them and it drains out, because that's a big deal on the set. They were floodable tunnels. And do you want them? And so of course they didn't put them up because now we had space, and they had been built. They were very, very expensive. And so basically they were like, if you haul them away, you can have them. And so they hauled them away and put them there, and then we started writing things with water pouring down the sets, because now you could. And they were from some movie, I don't know what. Don't know.
But the main thing was that so much of it was real. And when you were there on the set, you truly had the feeling that you were down in a different land in the tunnels, and you walked through different tunnels to get to different sets, and you would go past all of Elizabeth's murals in order to get to Catherine's front door. I mean, it was there was no continuity to it. Catherine's front door would be in one place, Joe's office and her office would be nearby, and then there would be tunnels. But Father's set was so big, it's like it had a set all to itself.
It took up a lot of room. And once we were down in Vernon, they were able to have the luxury of taking particularly Catherine's apartment and putting it in an area that was separated by doors from such things as Mouse's chamber and Mouse. And while I was in costume, I really wasn't supposed to go to her apartment at all because I was constantly filthy, and her apartment was beautiful. And so it was very helpful then when they were actually able to separate, the above and below a little bit more, because the below was just really dirty. Really dirty. Really dirty. And so if I sat down on Catherine's couch, they needed a new one. And I guess I did it once. And then there was this rule. Probably people took pictures all the time. I never took any.
I don't know whether the two of you had those pictures. There are some on that wall.
You have sketches.
Well, I was going to say
She's an artist, she's me a camera.
nuts. But no, the stained glass window and Portrait of Love is pretty accurate to what the colors were. They were darker. The thing you should know about Portrait of Love, and you'll see some pages from Portrait of Love and from Night of Beauty in the art show. Portrait of Love printed about 70 or 75%. It didn't print as dark as the original art was. One of the criticisms of the book was that it looked too misty, too pastel. But if you look at the originals in the art show, the artwork was quite a bit higher contrast. So just imagine the pages you've seen all these years, but up to 100% rather than 70% in contrast.
That's really interesting.
I'm sorry to interrupt. In fact, I could sit here for the next 3 days and just hear these stories. I'm being quite honest. However, the room is needed for practice for people who are going to be performing later.
And let's face it, we're just too hip for the room.
Okay, that's absolutely true. I would love to hear more. Like I said, I could sit here and listen to you guys forever. And there'll be more time for you guys to talk tomorrow. But now we have to